So what's been happening with my health over the last month, and why haven't I been posting any more YouTube videos? Stay tuned and you'll find out. Hello everyone, my name is Mark Zoll and welcome to my channel Transplant Fitness. I haven't made a video for you guys in quite some time, and I will go through the reasons why in this video that's coming up. But before we get into the main video, I just want to say a really big thank you to every new subscriber that I've got over the past few weeks. I haven't been feeling well, which is the reason why I haven't been making videos. But my YouTube channel has grown significantly whilst I haven't been making videos. I know it's very strange, but thank you so much to all of you. I'm over 100 subscribers now, so I did want to try my best to get a video out for you guys, just so that you can see I am still making videos, and I am still going to be updating you with what's been happening during my kidney transplant recovery. So let's get into the video for you guys, and let me start explaining what the hell has been happening over the last month and a bit. So, in my last video I think I left with you guys, I had just started a course of prednisolone steroids to help to fight the signs of rejection that was found in my new transplanted kidney. So after starting the course of steroids, my creatinine and my general health did improve. My creatinine dropped from around 170 to 130. I wasn't gaining too much weight on the steroids, which I was concerned about, and everything did look pretty good, and it looked like we had a nice plan moving forward. However, the creatinine over the weeks to come did slowly creep back up, and it went back from 130 back up to 140, 150, and it went back up to the 170, which isn't the number that we really like. So my doctors were getting a bit concerned, and they thought, right, well, we need to get a bit more information about this, so we're going to do some more tests. So I got sent away for some tests, and I found out loads more from the tests that I had to go through. So what were all these tests that I had to go through? So over the space of 3 or 4 weeks, I had 2 ultrasound scans, 1 MRI scan, and 1 CT scan. I also had an angiogram and an angioplasty as well, which I'm gonna make loads more videos for you about, just to explain exactly what they are, because they are pretty in-depth procedures. But from all these tests that I had to have done, we learned quite a lot about how the kidney was reacting and possible reasons why my creatinine was up and down, and they made a plan moving forward. And I'm going to explain this plan for you now in a little bit more detail than I usually would, because it's pretty interesting. I don't think it's very common either, so I want to tell you guys all about it. So when my brother Jason donated his kidney to me, he had this very rare occurrence of having 3 renal arteries attached to his kidney. So these 3 renal arteries provide blood to different parts of my transplanted kidney. My inferior renal artery, which is the lower one, supplies blood to the lower part of my kidney, and my superior artery, which splits off into 2, supplies the blood for the rest of the artery, so the top 2/3 roughly. Now what was found during all these tests was that my inferior renal artery, so the lower artery, wasn't supplying enough blood to the lower part of my kidney. So this was probably one of the reasons why it was causing my creatinine to go up and down, because not having enough blood supplied to your kidney means that your blood pressure is off, and how your kidney should be working is completely out of sync with the rest of your body. And the reason that this renal artery wasn't supplying enough blood to my kidney is because that it had narrowed at some point. It had narrowed either during the surgery or during the recovery. We're not quite sure how or why, but my inferior renal artery had narrowed, and it was stopping enough blood flow from getting to the kidney. Now, my doctors came up with 2 possible plans moving forward to help fix this issue. So the first plan was to insert a stent into my renal artery to open up the artery and allow the blood to flow through like it should do. And another plan was to put me on a course of aspirin, which helps to thin your blood, and hopefully that would be sufficient enough to get enough blood flow to the lower part of my kidney as well. But before they could determine which plan they wanted to do moving forward, that's when I had to then go through and do an angiogram test to see exactly what was either blocking the blood flow or restricting the blood flow. And then they'll be able to tell exactly whether I required a stent or just a course of aspirin. So an angiogram test would show exactly what was going on in my artery, in my renal artery. But the reason it had taken so long for my doctors to decide to do an angiogram test is because it's not the nicest of procedures. It's not a very nice procedure at all. It's what's known as an invasive procedure. So I actually have to have an incision, and they have to insert catheters and tubes and needles into me through my groin area into my renal artery leading into my kidney to help fix or see what the issue is. So it's not the nicest of procedures. So doctors do try to avoid it and do the ultrasound scans that I had and the CT scans and the MRI scans to see if they can determine what the best thing is before they do an angiogram. But with me, they determined that they had to do an angiogram because they didn't have any conclusive evidence exactly what was causing the issue. And from this angiogram test, it was decided that I would need a stent placed into my renal artery to help the blood flow into my kidney and hopefully increase my kidney function and reduce my creatinine. So after the angiogram test, I had an angioplasty procedure, which is the insertion of the stent, and it's done straight after the angiogram because it's using the same incision and you're using the same tools. So because you're already in the room and you've got the doctors who are already doing it, they just do it all in one for you. I will definitely be making a video about my angiogram and my angioplasty because it's a very, very intense procedure, and I do want to explain it in full details for you, but I don't want to bore you too much in this video. But I will be making a video about it after this one. So I had the angiogram test, had the angioplasty procedure. They inserted the stent into my renal artery, and initial testing looked really good. The flow of blood did improve after having the stent in place, and it was now a period of let's wait and see, and let's see if your creatinine goes down, and let's see if your kidney function goes up, and we'll take it from there and we'll make a plan moving forward. This period after the angiogram, this 2, 3, 4 weeks, was easily the hardest and most mentally challenging few weeks that I've had after my transplant procedure, and probably one of the main reasons why I haven't had the motivation or the energy to make videos for you guys. And I haven't been doing much else anyway. It's not like I've been busy and that's the reason I haven't been able to make videos. It's literally been because I've been trying to look after myself, and I've just been in a rotten mood after this angioplasty and this stent was put in place. And let me explain to you now why it was so hard for me to deal with after the angiogram. So let me just take you back a tiny bit. Just before my angiogram, the week leading up to it and all the testing that I went through, I was feeling really, really good. Physically, I was doing a lot more with myself. I was able to go for long walks like I used to, which I really, really missed. And since my transplant, I had paused my gym membership because I knew I wasn't going to be using it. And before the angiogram test and the angioplasty procedure was confirmed, I had just unfrozen my gym membership and started going back to the gym again, which I absolutely loved. I had started doing a bit more running, and I was making plans moving forward about how I was going to improve my fitness again and get back into the same routine, or close to the same routine that I had before my transplant. And I was getting really, really excited because I thought I was getting back into a nice routine in a way that I wanted to live my life how I had planned after my transplant. But what happened was, during my angioplasty procedure, so when they were inserting the stent, after they had finished, they need to plug the incision with this rubber plug which stops your renal artery from bleeding out. Because it's an artery, your blood is pumped through there at high pressure, so it is very difficult to stop the bleeding for your heel to wound without applying pressure and plugging the hole. So what happens is, as soon as the last needle and the last catheter or tube is pulled out from your artery during the procedure, the doctor immediately presses down on the incision where he's cut into your artery and sticks in this rubber plug and holds it as hard as he can for about 5 or 10 minutes. And this was the most painful thing that I've had done to me in this whole transplant process. So even recovering from the transplant in week 1, week 2, I haven't felt pain like this ever. It was the most painful thing, because you can imagine they've just opened your artery, they've slit an incision, they've been putting needles and tubes and everything inside you, and you're already feeling uncomfortable. And then because you're trying to stop the blood flow now from a very high pressured artery, you've got the weight of the doctor pushing down on your artery to try and clog it up to stop it bleeding out, and it was a lot of pain. So after 5 or 10 minutes after applying pressure, the doctor lifted up his hand to see if the wound was gonna bleed or not, and luckily it had stopped, so it was all over. So then I had to move from the sort of operation bed thing that I was on back onto my hospital bed, and in moving from one bed to the next, I think I moved in a strange position, or just by moving, I had moved the plug that was holding the blood from coming out of my artery. And then when I was laying on my hospital bed, I looked at the wound site and I had this massive lump on my leg near the incision where I was now hemorrhaging. So I was bleeding internally into my skin without it coming out the incision. So this is what they were trying to stop in the first place by applying all that pressure from the doctor. But now the doctor had left the room and it was up to the nurses to deal with the hemorrhaging. So there was this really short nurse. She was about 5'2", and she had to stand on the rails of my bed to get enough height, and then she had to apply her pressure. She interlocked her hands like this and applied as much pressure as she could onto my incision, because there was a huge lump there where the blood had been collecting in the incision site. So what was to come from all this pressure that was being applied and all the forces being pushed onto my leg at the time was a massive, horrible bruise. So I had this huge bruise on my groin into my leg, and it traveled all the way up to my hip. It was really painful. It was the nastiest bruise I've ever had. It was dark, it was blue, it was purple, and it was all caused because of the pressure they had to apply to stop the blood from hemorrhaging. And now that same blood was causing the bruising, and it took a very long time to recover. So this was why I was having so much trouble, and why I was having so much trouble mentally dealing with this 2, 3, 4 week period, because I had just got back to being super active and walking and exercising and doing exactly what I wanted to do. And because I wasn't able to keep as active as I would like, my mood became worse, like I said, and I started to feel negative, unmotivated, and I just didn't want to do anything at all. And this led to me indulging in food, especially now because my prednisolone steroids I'd been on for quite a few weeks now, and the hunger that they bring was completely in full control right now. I was hungry 24/7, and I just didn't have the energy, I didn't have the motivation, I didn't have the strength to say, no, I won't eat that, I'll try my best to eat this, or I'll try my best to be healthy. I was like, no, I'm just gonna eat what I want, and I don't really care about it. And that is literally how my mindset was for the 2, 3, 4 weeks. And of course, what this led on to then was weight gain, which I tried to avoid being on the steroids. It's something that's happened to me in the past, which I know I didn't like, but inevitably it happened. I had the moon face that came from the steroids as well. I'm still suffering from it a bit now, but it's not as bad as I think it was a few weeks ago. So hopefully that keeps improving. But this 2, 3, 4 week period was just the perfect storm of negativity, which I had almost created myself, because I just didn't want to do anything, didn't care about anything. I didn't have an answer for anything. I didn't know how to deal with it. Well, I'm sorry to say I didn't have some masterful plan that we can copy and paste and send around the world for everyone to use, because I didn't really make a plan in the end. It sort of just happened by itself, and the day by day sort of mentality kicked in, and that's how we ended up dealing with it day by day. I've had amazing, great support from my wife, Rima. She's been through everything with me since the transplant. She's been literally looking after me 24/7, as well as having to deal with her own life as well. I mean, it's support like that that gets you through virtually anything. So if anyone is going through tough times, mentally dealing with things, or they need help with something, turn to someone. Turn to anyone that you trust, anyone that will show some understanding, because it's so hard when no one that you know has gone through what you've gone through, but just knowing someone is trying to understand you and doing their best to help you, it's more than enough. It's more than enough to get you through tons of situations. And that almost brings us up to today. So today I do feel like I'm back on track, back doing things that I want to do, and feeling a lot more how I want to feel. So I'm not in the strongholds of negativity. I'm back to being the positive person that I know that I should be and I need to be, so that I can get through whatever it is that I need to get through. I haven't explained everything that's gone on over the last few weeks, because I am going to make another video about it after this one, because the next thing that I want to talk about is very unusual, but I think you guys need to hear it in a bit more detail than just brushing over it in this video, because it's going to affect the life of my kidney and the rest of my recovery. So I just want to end this video by saying, again, a huge thank you to all my new subscribers. I find it very interesting that I stopped making videos and gained loads of subscribers at the same time, but I'm not going to complain. I do want to make videos for you guys still, and I'm going to try and be a bit more consistent now that I've got the energy back, I'm in no pain, and I know that I'm going to have the time and be able to make videos and edit them for you guys. So thank you so much for all of you who have subscribed, and thank you so much for all of you who have begun to follow me on my other social media accounts as well. So you can go head over to Instagram and Twitter to follow me there as well. And I am in the process of starting a Facebook page for Transplant Fitness as well. So that's all from this video, guys. Like I said, the next video coming out will be a bit more information about what has been happening with my kidney and the plan moving forward, almost like a part 2. But this one's just going to end here just so it doesn't drag on too long. If you did enjoy the video, please hit that like button for me. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon if you want to be notified every time a new video does come out. And like I said, fingers crossed, I will be able to make more consistent videos for you guys. It's been really good getting back in front of the camera for you guys. I have enjoyed making this video. I'm now going to go off, edit this video for you guys, plan my next few videos, and hopefully we can push forward and get more videos on this channel. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video, which should hopefully be coming out very soon.